Welcome back to The Drive. I'm Owen Bates, and today's topic is risk and return and how this economic concept can be used in the sport of golf.
Here we have the beautiful sixth hole at the Credit Valley Golf and Country Club. It's ranked the hardest hole on the golf course and is a dogleg right that plays over the Credit River.
For those of you who aren't completely familiar with the game of golf, let me quickly refresh your memory. The objective of the game is to get the ball in the hole from a certain yardage in as least amount of strokes as possible. Seems pretty simple, right? But you have to avoid obstacles like water and different types of hazards. As you can see, we have the Credit River here. We have a hazard that runs along the right side of the hole after the water. Every shot that you face in golf comes with choices. In this case, if we are teeing off with our first shot from this tee box, we are faced with two basic choices. Choice number one is the high risk choice. This choice involves going over the water and is a risky play because it takes that water into play as well as the hazard after the water. Choice number two is the low risk choice, but also comes with low return. This choice is safe and is usually performed by most amateur golfers. Now, I know that's a lot to take in. So, for some of you that don't fully understand and can't visualize what this looks like, here's an aerial view.
Looking at the situation now from an aerial point of view will probably help most of you quickly determine the meaning of risk and return. To refresh your memory on what the hole looks like, we have the shape of our hole, we have the length of our hole, which is 440 yards, we have the tee box from where we hit our first shot off of, we have our green, which contains our ultimate objective, the hole itself, we have our two hazards, which is the water and an actual lateral hazard. And what these hazards do is they add shots on your score. So if your ball lands in them, then you're increasing your score, which is not good in golf and kills any chances you have of winning a tournament or succeeding in any way. So what this situation leaves us with are two options. We have choice number one and choice number two. Each choice represents a landing area. Landing area number one, and landing area number two. Choice number one is considered a high risk choice. It's a high risk choice because it's much smaller than choice number two, and it brings all of this trouble into play. So, unnecessary, but with high risk comes high return. High return is if a player succeeds and pulls off the risk, he or she will gain high return. So gain a closer advantage to the hole, a shorter distance in, which leads to a greater scoring opportunity, which is a lower scoring opportunity. With choice 2, we are offered a much larger landing area than choice 1, which is low risk because there's practically no trouble in play. None of this is reachable, and if the player happens to pull it off, which is most likely average, modern, they will receive low return. Now that we have a clear understanding about each of the choices that we have, let's talk about how people are influenced to make each choice. So with choice number 1, we will associate the word certainty with it. And for choice number 2, we will associate the word uncertainty. So what makes choice number 1 associated with certainty, or in other words, high certainty, and what makes choice number 2 associated with uncertainty or low certainty? This is caused by factors. Among factors, you have your external factors and you have your internal factors. To make this situation a little more economical, let's throw some numbers in here. So when looking at choice number 1, it's clearly the harder shot and requires a longer shot off the tee. And the distance to this landing area is about 285 yards. When the distance to choice number 2 is about 245 yards. So when looking back once again on the objective of golf, it's clear to us that we need to get the ball from here, the tee box, into the hole in as least amount of shots possible. So to do this, which gives us an advantage, is being close to the hole. So if the closer you are to the hole, the greater your scoring opportunity. So let's take some numbers here. So let's take the overall yardage of the hole and subtract 285 yards, which is the necessary distance to get over the water. And let's take 440 again and subtract 245, which is the necessary distance to land within this landing area. So looking at these numbers, we can conclude that being 155 yards away from the pin creates a better scoring opportunity because it's closer. When looking at the scoring opportunity, if you were to choose choice number 2, which equals 195 yards, you are 40 yards further back from the hole, which creates a more difficult scoring opportunity.
Now that we've established 2 clear choices, we can execute. For this situation, I will be choosing choice number 1. Choice number 1 involves going over the river, which requires a 285-yard drive, which this club goes exactly. And we will not be choosing choice number 2, which is the safer choice and involves my 245-yard club. So why did I go with choice number 1? I went with choice number 1 because of high certainty, and high certainty is produced by certain factors. In this case, there are 3. The first factor is that I'm a fairly highly skilled golfer and can attain an objective like this. The second factor is inner confidence, and inner confidence comes from past experience playing the game of golf. And the third factor comes externally from nature, which I'm referring to the wind today, and the wind is with us. So when the wind is with us, it will increase ball speed, ball flight, and increase the overall distance it flies. So now it's time for the execution. Perfect. Some people just happen to make the right choice.
So risk and return is low levels of uncertainty or low risk associated with low potential returns, whereas high levels of uncertainty or high risk are associated with high potential returns. Question of the day. When put into the exact same situation as on hole number 6, but instead leading a major golf tournament, should my decision at all change? The answer to this question can go both ways. It could be yes or no. It could be yes if I was the type of person that didn't react well under pressure, which leads back to internal factors. How I'm feeling in the moment, the type of personality I have, and past experiences under similar situations. When on the other hand, the answer could be no, which would mean that I'm comfortable under pressure, I like to play aggressive, and the competitive mode does not faze me.